Within the world of Chainsaw Man, there is a select group of devils which stand above all the others, having never experienced death due to their immense power granted to them by the fear that they embody. To date we have only met one of these devils, but today I am here to discuss with you the potential of the other devils who hold this prestigious title of being called a primal devil. A primal devil is one which embodies the deepest fears of humanity, fears which have existed near to the beginning of our species, and have helped to decide the fates of humanity by directing them away from danger. As I already said, we already know one of these devils, that devil being the darkness devil which appeared during the cast's first venture into hell. This devil demonstrated abilities far beyond those of any other devil we have seen up to this point. The only one to compare is Makima, the control devil, who was the control devil. The darkness devil has to date displayed superhuman speed and strength, shown being able to lift a devil and human alike without any visible effort, as well as being able to move between a group of devil hunters and attack them before they can react. Notable among the group was Quangsh, whose incredible speed in the series as well. Beyond these feats, the darkness devil has shown to be able to manipulate darkness, as its name would suggest, from enveloping the surrounding area in darkness, which for some unknown reason causes the bisected bodies of several astronauts to appear. 2. Being able to form swords out of darkness which upon contact cause severe hemorrhaging when the bell attached to the hilt rings after making contact. Beyond that, these blades also able to be controlled telekinetically, leaving the darkness devil free to attack with its arms should it so choose. The darkness devil has also shown to be able to remove the limbs of several humans, fiends, and devils with seemingly no physical effort, be this a display of immense speed or another ability it innately possesses. The final, and perhaps most terrifying ability of the darkness devil is that when it stares directly at another being, they begin to hemorrhage blood until they die. These are all the powers which were shown by the darkness devil, but considering that up until Makima's arrival, it was dealing with everyone with minimal effort and would have killed them all provided Makima had not used the Hell Devil to retreat, it is entirely possible for it to possess a greater number of abilities. As that the darkness devil seemed confident it could take her, given how it was using them as bait to draw her into hell. We have all seen up to this point how powerful and dangerous Makima can be, and it should also be noted that she didn't appear able to control it, using the same method she uses to control everything else, meaning that at the very least Makima doesn't consider the darkness devil to be inferior to her in some way, which in of itself is a large compliment. Sorry, I said I was going to be talking about the other potential primal devils, but I had to get the information we had on the darkness devil out of the way first so that everyone was on the same page, regarding what sort of ballpark we are dealing with here. Now that we have gotten that out of the way, I can begin to discuss what I believe the other primal fears might be, using some basic logic which I think is quite sensible, backed up by research, and consider fears which are part of our biology. So, without further ado, let's get started with one which I think is obvious. The fear of pain. This is something which I believe is vitally important to the human race's survival and is thus one of the most omnipresent fears in all our lives. It is the fear of pain which prevents us, usually, from repeating an act which risks inflicting pain upon us. So as a fear which is present in almost every single human from the moment they are born and can date back to before humans even existed, the idea of pain forming a primal devil isn't too far out there, is it? Now if we consider the idea of a pain devil existing to be a fact, then what kind of abilities would it possess? The obvious one would be for it to inflict pain, absolute pain, a pain so great that it drives people to want to die. But there are different kinds of pain. There is physical pain inflicted by having our bodies damaged, and there is emotional pain which comes from having our feelings hurt. These two forms of pain are not mutually exclusive by any means, one can bring on the other, and if a pain devil really existed it should be able to manipulate both forms of pain in some manner. How would it accomplish this? It could be in the same way the darkness devil causes the hemorrhaging, either by pointing or staring at a target. It could also be through the sound of its voice or by its presence alone, creating an area of affect which causes those within it to experience this world-shattering pain. However, due to the nature of this devil, it might be unable to inflict any actual lasting physical harm to a target, as pain itself is a sensation rather than a physical affliction. At most, a target of this pain which survives might suffer from phantom pains which make their life uncomfortable or unbearable. To me, this devil would be one which is physically imposing even among other devils, but will be physically weak as a representation of the fact that for as much as people fear pain and for as omnipresent as pain is in our lives, always subtle directing our daily lives, it is not something which cannot be overcome and cannot be dealt with in time and the proper support, in the case of emotional pain. I believe the reason it has never been killed is because so many avoid it due to the nature of the fear it embodies, so rather than risk an engagement with it they would rather just not consider it. I feel like, if there is a time when the primal devils become an antagonistic group towards Denji and the rest of the main cast, then I feel like this will be one of the first of them to die. Maybe not the first to die, but one of them, as its potential abilities would be able to further force whatever lingering emotional wounds they still have and force them to confront them head on if they want to survive, and with the rest of the primal devils having very real, physical means of harming them, they will need to be free of any sort of emotional baggage if they want to survive. That is how I think it will play out. But who knows? I thought I knew how things were going down before and then everything got flipped on its head, so we will have to wait and see. Now, if you have made it this far into the video, I am assuming you are enjoying it or are interested in the subject I am talking about. So, if you would be so kind as to give the video a like to let me know and leave a comment on how you think I can improve my presentation or anything else with my videos. Now back to the actual purpose of this video. The next primal fear I want to talk about, is the fear of loneliness, of being isolated and kept separate from those you can form a connection to, cutting you off from intimacy and leaving you with nothing but your infernal thoughts to respond to. Humans, by nature, are social animals. If you believe in evolution or religion, it is impossible to deny that people live together for more than safety's sake or for the sake of procreation. We stay together because if we do not, then we are left with nothing but the terrifying thoughts which rummage around in our minds. So, what kind of powers would a devil that embodies loneliness have? First, I feel like it would have to have a way to isolate its targets from not only those directly around them but from the world itself. To do this, the devil might have the ability to transport people to a place separate from all other forms of life, inaccessible even to the other primal devils, or it could have the ability to make it impossible for its target to recognize any sort of intimacy or familiarity with the world around it, isolating the target within their own personal bubble without physically removing them. As even when surrounded by hundreds of people, it is possible to feel alone. This power would be suitable for the devil which embodies the idea of being alone. Other abilities that I can see this devil having, is one which is like the power of the chainsaw devil in that it erases something completely. That ability being to destroy, or perhaps more accurately cut the connections between people, leaving them emotionally alone. Imagine for a second, you know who your parents are, you have all your memories of them but feel nothing towards them, the same with your best friend, your lover, all your connection to them have been severed. Now imagine, your favorite thing in the world, now you feel no connection to it at all, no joy, no hate, nothing, it's just voided in your mind. How would this be achieved? Maybe using weapons like the Darkness Devil's Sword, instead of causing physical damage. Each blow severs a connection you have to people, places, and things until you are left in a pit of despairing loneliness. Of course, this ability would also sever their connection to you, which could perhaps by itself be even more damning. Imagine it, everyone you love and care about suddenly not caring a thing for you. You would be nothing in their eyes. That's even more tragic and fear-inducing for the victim than the other way around. What do you think? Is it worse to live with no connection to anyone or anything, living in complete isolation, or to have those connections but be denied by the recipient? Both are a bit too terrified for me to linger on, so let us move on. Death, extinction, oblivion, call it whatever you want, it is the fate of all things which live. Be you a believer in the afterlife or reincarnation, it is natural to fear the end of your current existence, of perhaps no longer being at all. More than death, This is the fear of not being, of the void of nothingness enveloping us and erasing all that we are. This might very well be the strongest devil in the entire series, for even the unknown, which is likely personified by the darkness devil, is just the fear of what we can imagine, but utter annihilation is a fear we cannot even comprehend, and yet still we fear it. So, what powers would a devil that embodies the void of being nothing have other than the power to erase, to take a metaphorical, or perhaps, depending on its representation, physical eraser to whatever it desires? This devil might very well possess an upgraded form of the Chainsaw Devil's ability to erase devils and with them the existence of what they represent. How would it do this? Perhaps it only takes a thought, but that would be a bit too overpowered, wouldn't it? Although as maybe the strongest devil, I suppose that would not necessarily be a bad thing. But if we want to give Denji a teeny tiny speck of hope for victory, then maybe it also has to manifest its powers through a similar manner to the darkness devil. In fact, all the primal devils, despite their different embodiments and powers, might manifest them in a way which is similar to one another. I just had a thought. What if this devil really did exist and is the final antagonist of the series, an enemy which is impossible to defeat and who plays with Denji even as he tries his hardest to attain victory, only to have it all be erased, not just him as a person but his life, his history and everything that he was, putting an end to the series by erasing the story and universe, by erasing Denji's story? That would be both fitting for the type of story we have and the depressing tune of it all. In the end everything was pointless. What a morbid sentiment that fits perfectly with Denji's life. But what do you think? What primal fears did I miss, and how do you think they will manifest these fears upon the world? Leave a comment with your own thoughts below. I've been the Anonymous Weeb. Have a nice day.